On a quiet hill above the Aare River in present-day Switzerland stands a modest stone fortress, Habsburg Castle. Few who gaze at its weathered walls today would imagine that from this unassuming stronghold rose a dynasty that would dominate Europe for centuries, command vast empires, and help shape the destiny of the modern world. In the 13th century, the Habsburgs were not emperors, not kings, not even particularly powerful by continental standards. They were regional nobles in the fragmented landscape of the Holy Roman Empire, a patchwork of duchies, bishoprics, and free cities constantly maneuvering for advantage. Their early influence rested largely on strategic marriages, loyal service to the empire, and careful accumulation of land. The family's true turning point came with a man named Rudolf I of Germany. In 1273, after a long interregnum in the empire, Rudolf was elected King of the Romans. He was not the most powerful candidate, but he was acceptable to rival princes, precisely because he was not yet overwhelmingly dominant. Ironically, that compromise would prove transformative. Rudolf soon faced his greatest challenge, King Ottokar II of Bohemia, who controlled vast territories, including Austria. In 1278, at the Battle of Marchfeld, Rudolf defeated Ottokar. The victory allowed the Habsburgs to seize Austria, a territory far richer and more strategically positioned than their Swiss origins. From that moment, the family's center of gravity shifted eastward. Austria would become their power base for over 600 years. Throughout the late Middle Ages, the Habsburgs refined a strategy that would become legendary. While other dynasties expanded through conquest, the Habsburgs mastered diplomacy and marriage. A famous phrase summed it up: belligerent Ali tu felix Austria nube. Let others wage war, you, fortunate Austria, marry. This strategy reached astonishing heights under Maximilian I, Holy Roman Emperor. Through his marriage to Mary of Burgundy, he brought the wealthy Burgundian Netherlands into Habsburg hands. His descendants would go even further. When his grandson, Charles V, Holy Roman Emperor, inherited territories in Spain, the Americas, the Low Countries, parts of Italy, and the Holy Roman Empire, the Habsburg realm became so vast that it was said the sun never set on it. Under Charles V, the dynasty ruled not just Central Europe, but a global empire stretching from the silver mines of the Americas to the ports of Asia. Yet such immense power carried immense challenges. The Protestant Reformation, led by figures like Martin Luther, fractured religious unity in Europe. Charles struggled to preserve Catholic dominance while managing wars with France and the expanding Ottoman Empire. The dynasty eventually split into two major branches, the Spanish Habsburgs and the Austrian Habsburgs. The Spanish line ruled a global empire, but ended in 1700 with the death of the childless Charles II, triggering the War of the Spanish Succession. The Austrian line, however, endured. In Vienna, the Habsburgs cultivated not just political power, but cultural grandeur. The city blossomed into a center of music, art, and diplomacy. Under rulers like Maria Theresa in the 18th century, the dynasty modernized its administration and strengthened its army. Though challenged by rivals like Prussia and France, the Habsburgs adapted. Maria Theresa's son, Joseph II, pushed Enlightenment-inspired reforms, seeking to centralize and rationalize governance across their diverse lands. But Europe was changing. The French Revolution shook monarchies to their core. When Napoleon Bonaparte rose to power, the Holy Roman Empire, long a pillar of Habsburg prestige, collapsed in 1806. Emperor Francis II dissolved the ancient institution rather than see it humiliated. Yet, even in dissolution, the Habsburgs reinvented themselves, proclaiming the Austrian Empire in 1804. In the 19th century, the dynasty ruled a sprawling, multi-ethnic realm. Germans, Hungarians, Czechs, Slovaks, Croats, Italians, and many others lived under Habsburg authority. Balancing these identities required delicate compromise. In 1867, after military defeat by Prussia, the empire was reorganized into the Austro-Hungarian dual monarchy, giving Hungary significant autonomy while maintaining Habsburg sovereignty. For centuries, the dynasty had survived by adapting, but the modern age presented forces no marriage alliance could tame: nationalism, industrialization, and mass politics. The empire's internal tensions grew. Then, in 1914, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo ignited World War I. The conflict devastated Europe and exhausted the Habsburg state. In 1918, after more than 6 centuries of rule in Austria, the dynasty's reign ended. The Austro-Hungarian Empire dissolved into independent nation-states. The family that began in a modest Swiss castle had risen to command continents, and now saw its political authority vanish. Yet the legacy of the Habsburgs remains embedded in Europe's architecture, borders, and institutions. Vienna's palaces, the legal traditions of Central Europe, and the cultural crossroads of the Danube region all bear their imprint. From that quiet fortress in Switzerland to the courts of Madrid and Vienna, the Habsburg story is not merely about power. It is about endurance, adaptation, ambition, and the unpredictable currents of history. From stone walls overlooking a river to empires spanning oceans, the rise of the Habsburg Dynasty stands as one of history's most extraordinary transformations, a reminder that even the grandest empires can begin in the shadow of a single castle.